Good morning. Today we're going to be making some gates for our pastures here. Here's a 6-foot gate that I built yesterday. This is what we're going to be building. Okay. This is all made out of deck boards. And 4x4 goat and sheep fence. Heavy duty gate hinges. And the best thing is, this is like 1/3 of the price of a steel gate. I'm going to go ahead and start getting the lumber cut. Very easy to do with these gates. It's just 4 uprights, and I'm making these 4-foot gates, 4 foot high. So there's 4 uprights, 2 on each side, sandwiching the cross members in. So you got 2 here, sandwiching the cross member here. And the cross members are whatever width the gate that you need. And I have my diagonal. Just a note on the diagonal, when you're building these, you always want your brace diagonal to be leaning into the opening. Okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and get these cut. It's just, again, simple matter of cutting 4 4s for the uprights, 3 whatever width gate you're building, and your diagonal, and it's all sandwiched together. And what makes these extra strong is on these hinges I used carriage bolts going all the way through, so it's actually sandwiching on the hinge side. It's sandwiching all this together, so it's not just put together with exterior screws, as you can see here. So it's got 3 carriage bolts on the top sandwiching, 3 carriage bolts on the bottom. And the more I thought about this, this probably would hold a 10-foot, or probably could hold a 10-foot with these, because these do come longer. But I don't know, it's just pretty unhandy. These are heavy gates, and you can put a 3rd hinge on here in the middle if you had to. But these, they're heavy when you first build them, but they do lighten up because the pressure treated lumber does dry out quite a bit. So I don't look for any sagging in these, especially with those hinges. The nice thing about these premium deck boards is the ends are all square. At least my supplier has them all square. So I just need to measure from the end. Okay, we got the horizontal and vertical pieces all cut for both gates. We have our 3 horizontal members, our 4 vertical members, and the only one we're lacking right now is the diagonal piece, and I'll put that on later and trace the angles on that. Okay, when I'm laying these out on the floor here to start assembly, I want to make sure the cup is facing up on the first vertical members that I put onto the floor. I want to be able to screw these down so they don't cup outwards. So that's going to be laid down on the floor like this. Then we take our horizontal member, lay it down so the cup is facing downwards on these. There we have it, sort of laid out. Again, the spacing here is up to you. What I've done with my spacing, I left a little bigger gap on the bottom. I went 16 inches here, between here and here. And it left me like 14 and a half up here. Okay, we're ready to assemble our cross members to our vertical pieces here. And I'm going to go ahead and square these up and tack them together. Just tack them with some 2.5 inch staples. That way I can get everything positioned and place the wire on top of that. Okay, now we're going to check for square by measuring diagonals. About 77 7/8. Check the opposite diagonal. About 77 7/8. Close enough for a gate. Okay, so now we're going to sandwich the fencing in here and put our other vertical members on. Okay, now we're going to attach our fencing on top of our 3 cross members. I'm going to attach this with 1/4 inch crown staples, 1 inch long. Okay, makes for a good snug installation there. Okay, I have a mark here. I'm just going to go ahead and extend it. And I'll go ahead and cut those and place it in. Okay, we got our angles cut. I'm just going to toenail this in. Then we have to go ahead and get the back screwed in and our hinges put on. We just need to put our screws on this side here, on the back side. Okay, before I placed my hinge on, I had to put in a filler block here. My hinges are longer than my uprights. I did that on the other one also. Now I'm just going to go ahead and place these hinges on. Leaving the end overhanging maybe 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 inches. Level it up, mark my 3 holes, and drill a 3/8 inch hole in each one of those locations. Now each bolt gets a washer and a nut on the back side. They get tightened down, and that's the hinge on the gate. I just got to go ahead and do the bottom. Okay, the last step in finishing the gates are to install them. What I've done is just place the gate into the opening, and we're going to mark our hinge locations, and I'm going to come down 1/4 inch from the bottom of these hinges and make a mark. On the bottom hinge. Center them into the post, and that's where I'm going to drill the hole for the other side of the hinge. We're going to be drilling a 1/2 inch hole. And this is the other half of the hinge that we're going to be installing. The pipe wrench is pretty handy for the bottom hinge, especially as I can't get anything onto it to spin it all the way around in circles. And the bottom of the post is a little bit smaller than the top of the post. We drive the post in small end first. So I'm going to leave the bottom hinge out a little farther than the top hinge. Now when you're installing the hinges, you're going to want to make sure that you plan this so that your brace pin here is on the hinge side. You don't want that sticking out so people are going to hit it on the way through the gate. Okay, that one's installed a little tighter than the bottom. The bottom is narrower than the top. Now it's just a matter of going ahead and hanging the gate on there. But one thing I failed to mention was when I put the gate on there originally to mark the hinges, I laid a 2x4 on the ground. Now that could be whatever thickness you want. I used a 2x4 because the ground's pretty level, just to get the gate up off the ground so it doesn't rub on the ground anywhere. And there we go. The reveal is good here. On this side, the reveal is going to be different, top and bottom. Good, again, because the post is thinner at the bottom and then at the top. But it misses, and that's all that matters. Okay.